Look at that sprawling $15 million luxury retreat stretching out behind me, with its shimmering pools and private golf carts gliding around like they're in some high society dream. Yeah, that's sitting right on top of my grandfather's old homestead. The one my family poured sweat and soul into for over 7 decades before some power-hungry HOA tyrant decided she could snatch it away. Without a fight. I can still picture the way the morning dew clung to the grass that day she pulled up in her gleaming SUV, her scent of overpriced lavender clashing with the earthy tang of hay and livestock, demanding a fortune in made-up fines, claiming my chickens were disturbing the peace, that my weathered shed was a blight on her perfect little world, giving me just a month to cough up or lose it all. Victoria Langford figured she had me pegged as some naive rural kid who'd back down easy. But oh, she couldn't have been more mistaken, fatally so. That woman ended up behind bars for 5 long years in a federal pen, and I'm here to lay out exactly how we dismantled her empire piece by piece. But first, imagine if someone came gunning for your family's legacy. What lengths would you go to protect it? Share that in the comments, and tell me where you're tuning in from. Let's spread this tale far and wide. Let me pull you back to the roots of this nightmare. My grandfather, Henry Harper, snapped up those 142 acres in western Kentucky back in 1954 on nothing more than a gentleman's agreement and a vow to repay with crop yields, turning it into a thriving beef ranch. Complete with 4 sturdy outbuildings, a winding stream slicing through the heart of it, and vast fields that kept 50 steers content and grazing under endless blue skies. This ground wasn't mere dirt to Henry. It was his monument. Every gate he welded himself, every roof he patched through storms. He'd sit me down as a boy and say, "Alex, true worth comes not from possessions, but from the foundations you lay for those who follow." When he slipped away in 2020, he bequeathed it all to me. The ranch, the echoes of laughter in the fields, and sadly, a crushing $102,000 in hospital bills from his final days. I'm Alex Harper, 36 now, been wielding a wrench in auto repair since dropping out of high school. Hardly the resume for managing a cattle spread. Yet there was no way I'd let creditors strip away what he defended with every ounce of his being. The trouble brewed in 2021 when they broke ground on Oak Ridge Meadows subdivision smack against my fence line. Overnight, my peaceful haven traded neighboring corn rows and ancient maples for towering estates priced at $500,000 each, glaring at my rustic setup like it was a relic from a forgotten era. The HOA sprang up before the first moving truck arrived, a warning I dismissed while scrambling to settle Henry's debts, too buried in survival to notice the urban elite weaving their web. Then came Victoria Langford, and the storm hit full force. Envision this: dawn breaking. I'm scattering feed for the hens when a spotless silver Mercedes SUV rumbles up my dirt path like it rules the terrain. Out emerges this impeccably styled lady in a soft beige ensemble worth more than my truck's blue book value. She's got that polished drawl, all charm on the surface, but sharp as thorns beneath, greeting me with a nod while dodging a mud patch in her luxury pumps. Introducing herself as Victoria Langford, chair of the Oak Ridge Meadows Homeowners Association. Insisting we address my issues. I'd grown up with hens clucking at sunrise, but to her crowd craving spa-like silence, that's an outrage. She's flipping through her notepad, rattling off infractions. With the gravity of a courtroom verdict, disruptive sounds pre-9 a.m., pointing accusingly at my flock like they're felons, dilapidated farm buildings spoiling the view, scents wafting over and tanking their resale values. She halts, sniffing disdainfully as the barn's honest aroma mingles with her floral aura. "Mr. Harper, surely you see the neighborhood's evolved. We uphold certain expectations." My knuckles whiten around the pitchfork handle. "Ma'am," I retort, "my grandfather was herding cattle here when this was all open pasture. If birdsong bothers you, perhaps suburbia wasn't the move." Her grin tightens, cold as winter frost. "Oh, I believe you'll discover that's outdated thinking now. The Oak Ridge Meadows bylaws explicitly allow for penalties on any pursuits harming resident enjoyment. $600 monthly ought to offset the nuisance. $600 a month for daring to ranch on ancestral soil. And if I balk, I probe." Her expression chills further. "Well, we'd pursue alternative resolutions. I'm a seasoned litigator, Mr. Harper, far wiser to settle amicably than drag it out costly. As she retreats to her ride, my loyal hound Max unleashes a barrage of barks that bounce off those manicured facades like a battle cry. Victoria startles, nearly twists an ankle, glaring daggers that could pierce steel. Right then I sense this transcended petty gripes. About ambience or equity. This was dominance pure and simple, and Victoria Langford had picked the wrong descendant to bully. She didn't dawdle in unleashing her arsenal. A fortnight post our tense standoff, a registered envelope lands, spiking my pulse like a summer heat wave. An environmental watchdog alert lodged by anonymous locals alleging runoff pollution from my herd tainting local aquifers. Yet the jargon on contaminant ratios and microbial levels screamed expert handiwork. No casual complaint this. The inspector rolls up midweek in an official vehicle, seeming as out of place. On my turf as a suit at a barn dance. Decent fellow, akin to an old minter, but duty-bound, drawing water from the brook, soil from the meadows, even sampling the breeze near the sheds. Just protocol on a tip, he assures, slipping on latex, detailed one at that. We verify regardless, a month on. Results arrive with a $4,100 tab, pristine across the board, brook crystal, earth ideal. Air purer than city smog, but the fee stands, my hit for their hassle. Amid juggling payments on mechanic wages, the town paper splashes a headline, ranch operations probed for hazards. Not exonerated or bogus claim wastes public funds, just probed, framing me as some eco-villain rather than a steward of the soil. That's when resolve hardened. I head to the records hall. That dusty archive reeking of stale brew and endless forms, poring over filings, HOA charters, build permits, court docs, all open to scrutiny for copy costs. And there it was, the damning link. Langford Legal Group had orchestrated every legal facet of Oak Ridge Meadows' birth. The very Victoria Langford now wielding the HOA scepter had authored its edicts herself, crafting the blade she now swung at me. Bolstered by this bombshell, I crash my inaugural HOA gathering, held in their revamped clubhouse, once a humble chapel now flaunting granite counters and pendant lights. Because nothing screams unity like dropping $250,000 on decor, I arrive in my best flannel and polished boots, drawing stares like I'd tracked in mud, yet a handful of longtime locals. Those who recalled the area's agrarian past offer subtle nods of solidarity. Victoria presides up front, dissecting budgets like a CEO at a boardroom summit. Her facade cracks into that venomous sweetness upon spotting me. Mr. Harper, how delightful you've graced us. I presume you've pondered our chat on communal norms. I rise, clutching my dossier. Actually, I've unearthed some facts. Your firm birthed this HOA and pinned its mandates. Intriguing how you're deploying them now to squeeze me dry. Silence descends. Thick as fog, the hum of fluorescence the only sound. Victoria's charm evaporates swift as mist. I'm unclear on your insinuation. She snaps, voice stripped of honey. My expertise is precisely why folks here rely on me for upkeep. Upkeep involving bogus watchdog filings laced with jargon only a jurist would wield. I counter, peculiar coincidence. Whispers ripple through the assembly, not all approving of their reigning figure anymore. Moreover, I press, curious you've liaised with officials on my holdings, prompts questions about ulterior motives. That was a shot in the dark, but her flaring gaze confirms a hit. She knows secrets I don't. Session closed. She declares, gavel crashing like thunder, direct personal matters through channels. As attendees disperse, Venerable Eleanor Hayes, a pre-suburbia resident, pauses by me. Your grandfather was honorable, she murmurs. Don't let her erase his legacy. Suddenly it dawns. This eclipses fines. Victoria eyes my terrain for grander schemes, and I'd uncover just how tangled her plot ran. Eleanor's caution lingers like a shadow. Over the ensuing days I scrutinize my borders closer, revealing machinations that dwarf old tales of shady deals. Victoria wasn't merely complaining. She orchestrated a siege for unannounced health checks in a fortnight, timed for my shifts, each yanking me back mid-pay. Inspectors hunting phantoms, the official, bless him. Puzzled as I tip on unhygienic animal ops, he explains in my immaculate stalls Henry kept surgical, but frankly, This shines among the best, spotless or not. Forms breed charges, 60 here, 90 there, bleeding me slow, painful but below lawyer thresholds. Her fatal greed shown when enlisting bored allies for piled-on grievances. Sound breaches from Susan Patel in the Blue Manor. Foul airs from Tom Reynolds with the hybrid sedan, boundary squabbles from multiple flanks in a single day, spurring me to raid Henry's loft. A treasure trove of relics, certificates from the 50s, ledgers from Kennedy's era, every chit for every bolt. Deep in a labeled crate, a pulse-quickening find, the Primal Land chart from 1954, inked by hand and sealed, and per those ancient strokes, my domain stretched 50 feet past presumed edges, encompassing the HOA's prized recreation area with its $20,000 playset and cushioned turf pricier than my den rug. I pore over it at the dining spread, aligning with contemporary plots, verifying stakes in veteran elms, undeniable. Oak Ridge Meadows HOA encroached on my soil. With this dynamite, I turned to online warfare. Uploading the overlay to the Oak Ridge Meadows online forum, captioning, curious border insights, perhaps verify your lines, backlash erupts like a storm, 90 comments in hours, 60 reactions. 5 direct notes from fretful owners eyeing their deeds. Pinnacle, Victoria's furious all-caps retort. This constitutes bullying and coercion, legal counsel incoming. Nothing screams culpability. Like lawyering over a post. Yet Victoria doubled down dirty. Days later I returned from labor to a lawman in my lane, fidgety as a colt in a pen. Mr. Harper, he greets, tipping his cap cinematic style. Complaint of neighbor intimidation. Ms. Langford seeks protection order. The absurdity bites like sour fruit. Intimidation via what? He unveils a hefty binder, alleges ongoing torment. Menacing online missives, aggressive claims on their turf. Claims, her twist on my survey reveal, in her realm. Owning pilfered ground equals menace. Court date looms next Thursday. Victoria arrives armored in charcoal attire. Duo of aides like legal drama extras. I counter in tidy garb with files, sensing the system's tilt. The magistrate, weary from endless feuds, absorbs her narrative of my siege on serene households via machinery and posts. My rebuttal on surveys and her barrage gets waved off. Mr. Harper, temporary injunction granted, no outreach to board. Or social blasts about them. Breach means custody, exiting. Defeat weighs like chains. Victoria nears, her fragrance invading anew. Wiser to yield early. She hisses, now it'll strip you bare. Clarity strikes. This outgrows borders or dues. Victoria Langford chases a vaster prize, and I'd soon grasp her true quarry. The order arms her like a blade to a duelist. Within days, she escalates to property forfeiture for communal hazard, not penalties, eviction outright, the tone dense with legalese, boiling to my ranch endangering welfare, warranting auction. She recruits heavy hitters. Langford Legal Group joins forces with Louisville's elite, Crawford, Ellis, and Vaughn, sharks in terrain grabs. I muster scraps for Sam Riley, who'd managed Henry's will, solid soul. Justice over fees, but pitting him against her legion feels like a pup versus wolves. Alex, he levels over Diner Brew. Papers fan strategic. They're pushing urgent session to claim your spread in. A month, the order judge leans their way on norms. A month to obliterate 70 years. Desperation drives loft dives again. Amid ornaments and snapshots, a trove halts my breath. Missives from 1997. To Henry Harper from Kentucky Shale Ventures. Ornate stationery, stiff prose, craving subsurface leases for gas taps. I fan them out, trembling. Geologists pegged rich veins beneath. Starter bid $60. 000 plus cuts. Henry rebuffed sharp. His script reply vintage, appreciative. But this earth nurtures life above, not below. Offer passed. But the letters note tech leaps rendering old sites lucrative, that in 97. Today's value. I dive into research on fuel trends, extraction evos, state rules. Findings elevate Henry's native genius. Prices quadrupled. Advanced bores access untapped. Layers. My plot potentially harbors fortunes in gas. I ring current outfits. Responses flood eager. Kentucky Resource Group dispatches experts pronto. Bluegrass Fuels begs meats. Somehow Victoria sniffs my probes, appearing pre-dawn disheveled, veneer cracked. We must confer. She barges kitchen ward unbidden. On your recent ventures. I bruise solo. No offer. Barred from dialogue. Recall restraint. Drop the act. Harper. Her tone raw. I know of your gas talks. Grave error. Odd errors abound. Like playgrounds on stolen turf or sham probes, or concealing gas bonanzas you're pilfering. Her pallor drains. You grasp not. This dwarfs HOA spats. Entities averse to snags. Which entities? She rises armored, savvy ones. Resourced. Who've sunk fortunes in regional growth. Accept our payout. Relocate comfy. Or battle and forfeit all. Post-exit. I Henry's notes. He'd sensed the soil's gift. Foregoing riches for principle. Now I fathom Victoria's zeal to ruin me for it. Answers imperative. Her resource hints no bluff with stakes soaring. I summon vet pal Derek Lawson, Nashville PI since discharge. He arrives in nondescript Chevy, blending seamless. Best covers invisibility. He'd quip. Alex. He clasps firm, evoking foxhole nights. You snag the wild rides. In days he unearths Victoria's muck like an excavator. Your chairwoman's hooked on bets. Derek unveils over spreads of snaps and ledgers. Biloxi, Reno, tribal halls. Bleeding cash chronic. Figures dizzy. Loans exceeding $250,000. Equity taps on her Louisville pad. Borrowings from shadows. You'd shun. But core, state filings expose Langford Legal Group, not mere handler for Oak Ridge Meadows. Victoria holds 20% in the builder entity. She schemed this seizure ages. Derek maps. Harassment blueprint to undercut sales. Then the nuke. A 2019 geoscan by Langford Resource Holdings. Her veiled outfit, spanning 15 miles including my ranch and subdivision, reserves pegged at 10 to 14 million extractable. Your grandfather's spread isn't a top gas. It's the gateway. Sans it. Zilch access. Desperation decoded. Moreover, Derek adds, the subdivision's facade. Mansions veil a gas hub. That retreat masks the refinery. Puzzle snaps. Estates for legitimacy. HOA for control. Pressure to silence queries. Victoria hadn't thieved land. She'd conned epic. Our play. I query. Derek smirks predatory. Grant her the clash she craves. On our turf now. That dusk on Henry's veranda. Stream murmuring. Herd hushing. As adage rings. Soil reciprocates care. Sometimes care demands battle. And battle Victoria Langford would receive. Victoria's arrogance fractures visible. Perhaps debts clawing. Or scheme fraying sensed. But she lunges frantic. Amateur slips. Hastening agendas. What simmered harassment ignites blaze. Township council on my plot's progress bumped weeks early. She parades chambers touting employment and coffers like a campaigner, not a thief. Her civic club pitch dazzles if blind to deceit. Visuals of workforce tallies. Fiscal boons positioning my ranch as county savior. Even mock-ups of the sleek Kentucky horizon. Facility, chrome and eco-chic where Henry's sheds stand. But her dire blunder, overreaching in panic. I learn when evening home yields a ransacked abode, not looted, targeted, scoured for specifics. And they nab them, all Henry's inheritance papers, gas correspondences, charts and titles vanished. Oddly, heirlooms spared, Henry's vintage Colt untouched, stamp hoard intact, gadgets unmoved. But proof docs poofed, the deputy, same from order service, tours lackluster, jotting probable mess from value hunt, ideas on culprits. Yeah, gas claim foes. He eyes skeptical, rural hits routine. Routine pilfers of deeds alone, right? Yet digital era thwarts erasure. I digitized vitals to Derek's secure cloud. Originals gone, essence preserved. Plus, intrusion amid suit elevates to federal. Tampering, and Derek's cams captured partials. Rear lens conveniently fails pre-hit, pro-sabotage, but drive feed nabs a silver Mercedes lurking timely. Victoria slops, and slop breeds proof. Next, gossip mills churn, flyers on vehicles decrying my solvency and sanity, sly to evade slander, seeding distrust on the mad rancher blocking boom, citing neighbor clashes and leader persecution, framing me as job killer, tax drainer, divide ploy casting me antagonist. But boomerang ensues when Eleanor Hayes snags one, IDing stock and format from Langford's promo. Disclaimers her signature. Jargon. Darling. Eleanor waves evidentiary. She may lawyer, but trails blatant. Realization. Victoria's not desperate. Reckless. And reckless invites downfall. Rope ample. She nots eager. Her frenzy peaks realizing timelines slip. Counsel imminent. Needing me erased. Not muted. Obliterated. Monday she slams urgent plea alleging communal peril. Dossier thriller-esque. Dubbing me volatile rancher with aggression logs and unraveling psyche. Proofs forged. Sworn tales of fictions. Unprobed reports. Even shrink assessment from stranger claiming property paranoia. Sam rings dawn alarm. Alex. They seek instant takeover pending psych eval. Session PM. No games now. But urgents demand legitimacy. Victoria's sham collides Derek's truths, while she fakes evals. He'd chronicled hers. Casino shots monthly. Creditor rants taped. Spins erratic addict-like. Your leader, Derek arrays latest. Wagers others' funds. Dues. Trusts. Firm ops. Broke terrified. Hearing it too. Victoria with squad. Poised as prosecutor. Shrink prepped on my ills. But Sam pivots, summoning Derek. Honor. This plea furthers fraud to hijack Mr. Harper's holdings for profit. Derek's account demolishes controlled. Debts. Stakes. Trespass snaps. Calls on Harper issue. Judge. Fresh post-recusal. Absorbs hours stone-faced. But apex. Ryan Harper's media ally enters with. Channel 7 crew. Evals public. Coverage free. Victoria blanches at lenses. Her peril motion exposes desperation filmed. Honor. I deny. Refer TBI for probe. Court no fraud tool. Hallway. She corners wild. You've no clue unleashed. Last mercy. Now total loss. Threat Ms. Langford. Ryan records. She stumbles. Damage sealed. Broadcast. News tops with HOA fraud expose. Ryan segment. Shreds. Clarifying legalese for masses. Victoria's melt high-def viral. Porch that eve. Streams soothing. Glowbugs twirling. Calm preludes triumph. Her hands played. All busts. Morrow Council. My Trump ready. The hall overflows. Buzz electric. Half region witnessing Victoria's fall live. I tote Henry's case. Laden with Kentucky Resource Group packed. Derek's probe. Sam's bar filing. Victoria fronts armored. Tremor betraying. Eyes scanning exits. Commissioners enter reluctant. Small-timers thrust into scandal. Chair Commissioner Ellis convenes grim. Ms. Langford present. She orates masterclass. Metrics on hires. Revenues. Visuals of bounty. Commissioners. This heralds 15 million infusion. 250 rolls. 6 million taxes yearly. Forward or stall. Murmurs approving. Slick if ignorant of rot. Then comments. I advance. Alex Harper. Owner at stake. Sharing omissions. Unveil Derek's finance. Victoria Langford claims 20% in Caesar firm. HOA harassment to lowball. Concealing 10 million gas trove. Uproars stadium loud. Victoria leaps. Bullying. Restraint breach. Actually, Sam interjects. Order voided on your tamper charge. Next, lease doc. Inked with Kentucky. Resource Group. 12 million decade span. Eco drill sparing surface. Her scheme fraud and mood. Commissioners stun. Commissioner Ellis probes. Proposal deceit-based. Yes. Con to Robkin soil. Proof here. Then FBI rises. Agent Ramirez calm. Ms. Langford arrested conspiracy. Tamper. Rights breach. Victoria shatters. Impossible. Connections. You have rights. Cuffs click. Chaos erupts. Cam's eternalized walk of shame. Team flees. But Zenith. Eleanor sparks ovation swelling universal. Gavel final. Proposal nixed. Mr. Harper. Lease congrats. Ms. Langford no issue. Exiting. Henry's words resonate. Soil guards if guarded. Sometimes war waged. The fallout unfolds triumphant. Within days cascades. State freezes accounts. Audits dues. Schemes near $250,000 for bets. License yanked. Louisville allies bail. Mercedes towed. Trial brisk. Guilty plea conspiracy fraud rights. 5 years down from 12. Judge mandates $2.8 million repay. Lifelong debt. True win beyond jumpsuit. Community rebirth. Drilling 6 months on. Kentucky Resource Group honors vows. Low impact. 60 build jobs. 20 steady. $1.5 million initial wires prompt. I channel to Henry Harper Legacy Fund. aiding ranches statewide, AG scholarships, starter loans, defense for harassed owners. HOA self-dissolves, sans fist, owners ditch rule tomes. Eleanor Hayes leads lean group on real needs. I expand ranch, 60 more steers, revive Henry's sheds, fiancée Laura joins last summer, vows next autumn under his favored maple. The Henry Harper. Autumn gathering draws 6,000 yearly, tunes, eats, ode to old Kentucky pre-sprawl, Victoria's saga warns nationwide, Ryan's Work Awards, Hulu doc cements me rights icon, queries flood on HOA. Woes, council same, record all, rights no, community power versus tyrants. The Earth Henry sealed handshake strong stays Harper, royalties shield futures from burdens or grabs, yet finest. Veranda dusks, stream whispers, herd sighs, affirming fights worth waging. Now, if this saga stirs thoughts on justice's blindness or the ethics of fighting fire with fire, was the pursuit of payback, crossing into vengeance, or purely deserved reckoning for such betrayal? Drop your takes below. Let's debate where lines blur between right and retribution in battles for what's yours.